to be following. You definitely got to be following what Jonah is doing. Jonah is killing it right now. Just had a call with him. There's so much runway in the freaking surf art and the water art. Like, it applies to so many different generations and genres, and you know, it's got the tropical vibe, it's got the beach vibe, it's got the I don't want to be here, I want to be there vibe, the Zen vibe. Like, good niche, man. Good niche. I love talking about the niches. But we're not talking about niches today, are we?
No, we are not. What are we talking about today?
We are teasing our brand.
I'm pretty excited about this.
We got a brand new show.
Teasing our brand new show, guys.
So
tell them about it, Pat. Tell them about it, because you put together a lot of the language on this, and it's beautiful. So go ahead.
Yeah. So we're calling it Art Business Mornings. Art Business Mornings. And I think we're calling it that because we've been doing these random shows for, I don't know, 4 months now. I mean, maybe it's even 5 months now. I don't know. And like the random shows, like, oh, great, random show. Like, what the hell does that mean? How does that help anyone out? Right? Like, where's the Wifty in that? Wifty, what's in it for me? I don't know. I don't know what's in it for you, random show. Like, are we just talking through things here and trying to help people on the side? What's in it for you? Nothing. So Art Business Mornings. One, it's going to be in the morning. We're tentatively saying Tuesdays and Thursdays. The mechanics of the show, we're going to set a time. It'll likely be like 9 a.m. PST, 11 a.m. Central, noon. Well, if it's noon EST, that's not really mornings, is it? I don't know. We have some mechanics to figure out in terms of our timing. We're going to do that. Independent of the timing, where will it be distributed? It will be distributed on Instagram Live like we are now, on Facebook Live, on YouTube Live, on Periscope, on Twitter, and on LinkedIn Live. What about after the fact when you miss it? After the fact, if you do miss it, it'll go on the podcast feed. So you'll want to subscribe to the podcast feed. And what we realized, I think, in the formulation of this new show is, one, art business. We need to define that, and we will define that. And it's an umbrella of sorts, right? Because we keep getting on these conversations on, especially, like, you know, the customers know what we do, obviously, but the non-customer Zoom sessions, and just based on where we are in our brand positioning and everything else, like, we keep getting pigeonholed as the guys that want you to do prints, right? Like, that's our whole business model. And like, nothing could be further from the truth. We don't care what you do. All we care about is success. We want to find success. If you have success, we want you to double down on success. We're going to continue to reverse engineer success. What we're doing, everything that we do is based on success. I don't care if you're selling originals, if you're selling limited editions, if you're selling open editions, if you're selling prints, if you're selling tchotchke. I can't believe you're selling tchotchke, but if you're selling tchotchke and you're successful, if your business is a hybrid, meaning you have a service component to your business, and I don't care if that's you're a wedding photographer, an event photographer, a surf photographer, or whatever it is, but you have a service component of the business, you're shooting AYSO shots, or you're teaching classes, digital capacity, how to paint, darkroom techniques. Does anyone even do that anymore? Everyone's digital. Lightroom techniques, Photoshop filters, or you're taking people into the national parks and doing night photography like Mike Taylor. Shout out to Mike Taylor. Or anything in between. It doesn't matter to us. Collectively, that is the art business, right? The umbrella known as the art business. And Nick, you got to watch StreamYard because I'm looking at my notes. So collectively, the art business umbrella, right? So Art Business Mornings, we've defined the umbrella. The success component, I honestly, we've had so many conversations, okay, with non-customers that are told nonsense by people that have zero success, and they bank it as gospel, and it is infuriating. The bad advice that people seem to be getting on a regular basis and is filling their head and literally preventing them from doing anything is killing us. It's absolutely killing us. It's gotten to the point we're regularly asking on a regular basis, where did you hear that? Where did you hear that?
Where did you hear that?
Who told you that? Who told you that? And then I want to go find them. I want to go find them and drag them out of their house and put them on video and say, how much art have you sold? Thank you. Shut up. I'm done with that. Give me an aneurysm.
It's so funny though, because that's truly what's happened. It's like after one session, you're like, okay, like we just heard it. And then 2 sessions and then 3 sessions. And then finally we're like, everybody's saying that I should, like, I did this, like, should I do this? Or I was told to do this. And we're like, finally, we're like, who told you? Who is telling people all of these failed things to do? Like they're all like sheep walking off a cliff, following the guy who's never sold any art before, right?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Independent, and like I'm not angry at anyone.
That's why we're doing this show, guys. That's why we're going to be doing this show.
I'm just angry that like the bad advice is out there and people are following it because there's just no need for it. There's no need for it, right? So, okay, so we get the success piece. We're going to unwind that. Why you might want to listen to us. This is brief. Long entrepreneurial backgrounds, both of us, many successful companies, millions of dollars spent in Facebook ads, years and years and years in the trenches of digital marketing, hardcore dirt underneath the fingernails, hardcore digital marketing. We're live on 5 platforms right now. I've got a wireless keyboard connected to Instagram, my AirPods. I've got a microphone on the line, live on 4 different social platforms. I got banners. We're in the trenches. Okay. We know what we're talking about. You can't snow us on the digital marketing piece. That's not enough though. We got data. Okay. We have the data of live sessions, and we've run about 200 of those. And previous to the live sessions, you know, we were independently working with or talking to, first of all, Nick's been in the art industry his entire career. I've been in the art industry working for him in certain capacities for 10 years, and thousands, hundreds of thousands of conversations with photographers and artists. And then we have the data most recently in which we are talking to our customers hundreds at a time in Zoom sessions bi-weekly, and then talking to non-customers sometimes 3 times a week, sometimes bi-weekly. And in the pattern recognition at this point in time, I think puts us in a very, without any braggadocio or anything else, puts us in a very unique position, okay, to understand the problems that are out there that are preventing artists and photographers from growing a significant 6-figure a year and yearly income business, okay? Is there more? There's more. What's more is that we now have a website platform in which 3,800 artists are selling art online. Turns out we get to look at all their stats. So now we have this unique lens into this large swath of artists and photographers in all of these various different niches and all of these various different mediums, and we know what's working. We have a very good idea of what's working and what's not working. I think you combine those 3 things, and it puts us in a unique position to at least be able to speak with some authority. What's the show going to cover? 5 pillars, okay? And really fundamentally at its core, what we sort of talked through and decided is that what we're aiming to create in you, artist, photographer, yes, sculptor, crafter, jewelry sales too, it's all in the same boat, a 6-figure a year art business, a 6-figure a year art business. Why? Because 1, it's a great number. It's a number that a lot of people aspire to. 2, many are solo entrepreneurs, side hustles and everything else. So it's a good little number to hit. It's a large portion of where the market is. But I think more importantly, what like fundamentally underscores all of this is that there has never been a better opportunity for the individual artist, the individual photographer to control their own destiny, their own business model, and actually hit that number. In the economics of business, the economics of the business, when you get in that position, you are no employee business, essentially drop shipping, which means, you know, aside from originals in individual cases, you're able to not touch anything, manufacture the product, sell as many units of it you want, not be involved in the shipping, just work it on your marketing, do it all out of your house with damn near zero expenses. And then also it's a business. I mean, we had a guy that came on a Zoom call the other day that was 78. He's like, I'm tired of going to the local shows and fairs. My art sells every time I talk to somebody. And he was wanting to get busy digitally and online and figure it out. 78 years old. How many years does that guy have left? To be honest with you, you look like 55. He's probably got 20. So contemplate what a business looks like. You artist, you photographer, stretched out over that time horizon. What are you in now? Your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s? Do you know how much time you have? Everyone takes for granted what you can achieve in a long period of time. Okay. In a long period of time, you can achieve so much. Everyone is just focused on what you can achieve in the short period of time. In the short period of time, very little. In the long period of time, my goodness, you're blown away with what you can achieve. So 6-figure a year art business. Okay. That's the goal. That's underpinning what we're aiming to create with this show, if there's such a way to say it. I think it's going to have 5 pillars. Okay. 5 pillars to a 6-figure a year art business that we need to delve into, that we need to understand, explain, articulate, all of the above. Number 1, unclog the drain. I'm not going to go in depth into all of them, but number 1, unclog the drain. Okay. What do I mean by that? I mean, get rid of all the self-limiting beliefs in BS and procrastination and only I can launch with perfection and a myriad of other self-limiting beliefs in the actual official show intro. This is just the tease, by the way. This is the warm-up lab. This is that we came up with this morning and now we're shipping it version because it's what we do. It's what we do. So That's pillar number one, unclog the drain. Sadly, we can't even talk about the other 4 pillars until we unclog the drain. And we've learned this like quite conclusively. Pillar number one, unclog the drain. Number 2, Nick's baby, understand the business model. Understand the business model. And it's one of those things that perhaps even arrogantly to a fault on our part, or naively to a fault on our part, we thought was common knowledge. It's not common knowledge. It's not common knowledge. People do,
and it's the source of the starving artist problem.
Yeah.
It's the source of the starving artist problem if you get this wrong. That's why it's pillar number 2.
No, it's massively problematic. So we're going to need to articulate what we believe to be, based on our experience, based on the data, based on the customer conversations, what the business model needs to be if you want to set yourself up on the path to a 6-figure a year art business. And by the way, the 6-figure a year art business, don't care if it's a side hustle or full-time. It's 6 figures a year in sales. Okay. Don't care what combination it is. It is 6 figures a year in sales. Okay. Number 3, the secret to effective marketing. And Nick tried to tell me, like, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't tell him the secret. We've been working our entire lives to figure out the secret. Don't tell him the secret. I'm telling him the secret. I don't care. I'll tell him. You want me to tell you a secret? There's no damn secret. Okay. It's taken me years of marketing to learn this. There's no secret. None. It's focusing your energy on the highest ROI marketing, highest ROI, return on investment, time, energy, treasure. Focusing on that, doing it consistently. That's it. That's it. Game of pressure over time. That's it. 3rd pillar. Number 4 pillar, the inputs. The inputs. You can rant on that for a second. It's also, what are we calling it? The inputs / who you surround yourself with. It's really the inputs. I think it's a combination of those two.
There's two ways of looking at it, right? You can look at it like the negative way, which is like you cannot, like, you will almost guarantee that you will not be successful as a solo entrepreneur if you try to go it alone. Okay. Now the flip side of that is you need, like, you are going to be the average of the 5 closest artists and photographers that you surround yourself with. So that might be 0 because you literally don't have anybody that's running an art business, or it could be a friend who hasn't sold anything. But you need to surround yourself with other solo entrepreneurs who are executing on this business model, and who are doing better than you. Okay. Why? It's because most of the questions that we get when we're talking to everybody are things that are like commonly answered by people who are doing even decently well. Right. And so we'll get questions from people that are either starting out, or they're even selling $20,000, maybe even $30,000 a year. Right. And they're like, well, what my problem is, like, I'm not sure what to do about this, and it's been holding me back for years. And we're like, that's like a problem that we can solve in like 10 seconds. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. This is commonly known amongst our members because they work together and they share information. So that's what this pillar is, right? Is you need to surround yourself with other solo entrepreneurs who are more successful than you. Sorry, artists and photographers. They need to be running this type of a business so that you can bounce questions off them, and share information. And so you're not running the business alone on an island making very poor decisions. Okay.
And we should say the quality of these inputs is what plants all these seeds of nonsense. You ever watch that Peppa? My kids watch the Peppa Pig all the time, and the daddy pig is like listening to the sat nav, and it's like such an English thing to say. It's talking nonsense. It's talking nonsense. I don't know where you're getting the nonsense from, but we need to cut the nonsense out, because all that does is get in your head, sticks in your head. Let me ask you, does any of this sound familiar? The hours turn into days. The days turn into weeks. The weeks turn into months. The months turn into years. You look back and you've made not a single solitary constructive step forward in your damn business because that nonsense got in there. It's stuck in there. Hence the unclog the drain. The fifth pillar, okay, is the perspective. What do I mean by the perspective? About how long both sides, right? How long it takes to build a proper business, how much time you actually have. Again, going back to the 78-year-old, like decades ahead of you of building this business. The analogy I give, which is a great one. I used to drive to this place that was 3.5 hours away in the desert to go ride my motorcycles, right? Halfway of that drive, so about 1 hour and 45 minutes, is my mother-in-law's house. we've had to go out there a bunch. And when I was driving the 3.5 hours out to the desert to go ride the motorcycles, I would blow by my mother-in-law's exit on the freeway and be completely energized and fired up, because in my mind, I knew I was driving 3.5 hours, right? And so now, hashtag 2 children, hashtag riding 3.5 hours out to the motorcycle, ride deserts in the motorcycle, hashtag divorce. So that's not happening anymore. But now when I drive, okay, to my mother-in-law's house, the hour and 45-minute drive, in an hour and 30 minutes, I in my head am going, am I there yet? Am I there yet? Am I there yet? I'm antsy. I'm like nervous and I'm antsy because my perspective is off about how long the drive needs to be. And that destroys your momentum. It destroys your performance. You think you're running a 100-yard dash and you don't understand it's a marathon. Once you have that properly aligned in your head, and we take into perspective the other 4 pillars, it's just a game of pressure over time. You can do it.
That's right.
No one will have control of your business. You're going to own all of your leads. You are going to focus on the direct sales model. Anything above and beyond that is going to be on the outside of things. I don't care if 10 years from now we're on pandemic number 16. You are going to be as hedged against anything that comes down the road as you possibly could be. And it's totally feasible. And not only is it totally feasible, there has never been a better time in history to do this. Straight up,
exactly.
The situation on the ground right now has accelerated. This first pandemic has accelerated the adoption of technology, as well as the growth of technology, what you can achieve with it, how you can do things digitally, be in 1,000 places at once, and make it as close as possible to the retail art selling experience. So that's it. That's a new show. I'm excited about it.
Yep, I love it. And I think like my final comment on the perspective piece is like, perspective is so powerful because it can either be a major asset for you if you have great perspective, right? But on the flip side, it can be poison. It can be poison. It can ruin you. It can literally take down the business, right? If you don't have the proper perspective as an entrepreneur for that this is not a sprint, it's a marathon, right? Yep. And you get antsy. You don't treat your customers the right way. You're not thinking about your product the way that you should be thinking about it. All of that type of stuff, right? You're expecting a fish to jump in your boat, immediate results. You don't understand any of that. It can get you down so hard mentally. And the only problem is there might be nothing wrong with your business at all. It's just that you didn't have the proper perspective of how long it takes to build a real business. That's it, right? So yep. That's the final pillar, right? I like that it's the final pillar too, because it's like, hey, after we've covered all the meat and potatoes, right, on these 4 pillars, the last one is like, hey, you could have all of these right, but if you get this last one wrong, you are toast. You just toasted the whole thing with just the wrong mindset about perspective. Isn't that amazing?
Yep. And Sergio's checking in, and he's from Querétaro. We actually have a customer that lives in Querétaro. One of our most successful customers, I would add, that lives in Querétaro. You should look.
Who is it?
I think.
Is it Bill?
Bill lives on the outskirts of San Miguel de Allende. This is in Guanajuato, central Mexico. But his wife is from Querétaro, and so her whole family is from Querétaro. It's a hard one to say. Querétaro. Beautiful part of Mexico, though.
He's running a 6-figure art business. Okay. He's one of the people we're talking about. He's running a 6-figure art business, from there. So, yeah, anyways, and I see Mariah here, an Art Storefronts member on Instagram. And she said, it's so true. When I first started, I had it all wrong. Thanks to you guys, I have the right perspective and I'm moving in the right direction. Mariah, you're like a perfect example of like, I see you coming to the private member workshops every single week. And you're like, you're young and you're investing in yourself. Like where you're going to be in 10 years, it's going to be amazing to see because you've got all the right ingredients and the right mindset about the whole thing. And if you just play the marathon and you keep learning and you keep building your skills that we're teaching you as an entrepreneur, like you're going to do amazing because I can tell because anybody that's attending these workshops every week, that's listening, taking notes and doing that, I'm going to bet on you. I'm going to bet on you. I've spent my entire career learning all of these lessons, right? And we're there, and you too, exactly. And we are there teaching it every single week. if you're not taking advantage of that, I don't know what you're doing. But Mariah is, Yeah. So I love it, Mariah. Good job.
I love the, and I stole this from Aaron Sorkin, but it's so good, right? Like, guy's walking down the street, falls into a hole, right? And he's down at the bottom of the hole, and he's yelling up there out of the hole. And he's like, help me, help me, help me. Can you help me get out? I'm stuck. I'm stuck. I'm stuck down in this hole. Doctor walks by, and the doctor looks down in the hole, and he's like, help me, help me, help me. Doctor, can you help me get out of the hole? Doctor writes him a prescription, throws it down in the hole. Guy's like, great, thanks. Appreciate that. Doctor keeps walking. Help me, help me, help me. I'm stuck down in the hole. Can you help me? I'm stuck down in the hole. A pastor walks by, right? Pastor gets down on his knees, prays for him, keeps walking, right? He's screaming, help me, help me. He's been in there for hours. His buddy comes walking by and jumps right down in the hole with him. And he's like, you moron. Now we're both stuck down here. I've been down here for hours. And the friend goes, yeah, but I've been in the hole before. I know the way out, right? Like, that's the level of advice that we get to give. And it's fun. That's a fun thing to be able to do. It's like the amount of years wasted, the amount of dollars wasted, the amount of stress, gray hair, lack of fitness, extreme alcohol consumption, all of it. We don't need you to do it. We don't need you to do it. We've already done it. We're already down in the hole. Let me show you the way out of the hole. That's it. I really like that Aaron Sorkin line.
Yeah, it's good. Okay, so let's summarize here. So for those of you who jumped on late, we are teasing our new show, right? So we're going to be doing Art Business Mornings by Art Storefronts. It's going to be Tuesday and Thursday, at least for now. We'll be doing it randomly also, but it'll be in the mornings on Tuesday and Thursday. We're going to set the time. We'll figure that out. We'll let you guys know, but we're going to be talking about all the stuff that Patrick, mentioned there. And it's all about, what it takes to build a 6-figure art business, right? From home, right? Essentially. Yep. So, the 5 pillars.
Yep.
And 5 pillars that Patrick just went over.
We can't commit to the time yet, right? Because we practice what we preach. Now, a normal person would never launch this show without months and months of planning and putting all the dates on the calendar and moving the dates around. And then they would spend a bunch of money advertising, then they'd launch it. What do? Came up with the idea this morning.
Ship it.
Launched it right now. Ship it. And that will be the topic. Each corresponding show too will have a subtopic. And I already got a list. I've been making a list. It's a good one. We're going to cover hand-to-hand combat. We're going to cover titles like Only the Market Can Tell You. We're going to cover topics like never compare your beginning to others' middle, live art shows, when to pivot if your art's just not selling, validating your art. Does the market want it? Defining your niche, small wins. What are they? Why you need to stack them. He who is closest, or she, to the customer wins. Art business longevity, like I covered. 20,
Gosh, I'm getting so excited.
67. High ROI marketing activities. I realize that we need a whole show on defining that. Shiny object syndrome and how to avoid it. Okay. Hugely important. What you don't do is as important to what you do.
Probably more important.
One of your faves, success and going all in on it. Okay. Going all in on it. Staying in your lane when you need to do that. Near and dear to my heart, merchandising. Merchandising.
Merchandising.
We do a whole series on merchandising. Dog fooding, eating your own dog food. Dog food 2.0 in a SaaS era, which is going to be our new swan song. And then finally, we talked about that earlier. Just ship it. Those topics, a myriad of others, a multicolored galaxy of uppers, downers, laughers, and screamers are coming your way. So that's
you guys. For those of you who you hear us say just ship it, and I see some of the members like Maria's on here, and they hear us say just ship it. The real phrase that we actually tone down, I should say, is shut up and ship it. That's actually the real phrase, and we kind of modified it because it's a little too harsh, but it's actually shut up and ship it, right? And it's like I love like the directness of that line. Shut up and just execute and get it in the water.
The advice is like what I would call like high level important for the entrepreneurial crew. As it pertains to artists, it is quite literally the artist drowning in the water, and this is the life preserver that you throw them, right? Because there's such a level of procrastination, there's such a level of perfectionism, there's such a level of like not shipping it, that just by shipping it, the sheer amount of low-hanging fruit that is waiting for you when you do is staggering. It's staggering. And you know what you don't know, and only the market can tell you. Ship it real good. You love
All
that.
right. So
that's
what do we?
Steven's humor. But
that's right.
Yeah.
So, okay, tomorrow, guys, for non-art storefronts customers, Patrick and I are doing a free art business marketing consulting, right? Essentially around this entire concept, okay? But it's your chance to actually talk to us, okay? Let us know where you're at with your business. What's the number one problem you have that you think's holding you back? Bring that to us tomorrow, all right? It's a live Zoom call, so make sure you're on our email list. Like us on Facebook and whatever, so that you can see this thing, right? And it is going to be at 11 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Central, 2 Eastern tomorrow, okay? Tomorrow. So get in on that. If your business is stuck or if you're just trying to get launched, whatever it is, whatever you think is holding you back, come and talk to us. We're gonna probably focus on number one, unclogging the drain, right? Because we know that that's what we have to do, right? So yes, and then aside from that, if you want to learn more about art storefronts and you haven't done this yet, request a demo. That's actually the next step, okay? And when you do that, one of our team members will reach out to you and take a look at your art and learn about what your goals are, and then they can show you everything that we do at art storefronts. You know, number one, the proper art gallery website with all the features you need to sell art. Number two, the ongoing art business and marketing consulting. Those are the two things that we do, and art storefronts is an all-in-one solution to help artists and photographers build their own fine art business, okay? So yes, request a demo. There's a link on our website always in the upper right-hand corner, a big button that says request a demo. That's where you can do it. If you're on Instagram, there's a link in our bio. Click that, you'll see a request a demo, and there should be a link on the post on Facebook right now if you wanna do that. Also, I should mention, we have a summer special going on right now. So you can save a lot of money on a membership to join art storefronts. So if you're thinking about doing that, now is a good time to get that demo request in. Don't wait until the end. It gets really busy. Other than that, anything else?
No, I've spent
leave it there.
That was a pretty good rant.
Yeah. Well done. I'm super excited for the art business mornings. It's going to be phenomenal. So yeah, you guys get it on your calendars on the Tuesday and Thursday morning. We're going to be doing it. So if you like us on Facebook and on Instagram, you should get notified when we go live. You can do YouTube as well, right? But as Pat said, if you follow the Art Marketing Podcast, which is our podcast, you can also binge on them there. We're going to upload all the episodes up to there too, which is pretty cool. So lots of ways to watch it, but we'd love to hear your comments live because we'll answer your questions. You know, if you drop comments on here, we will answer them.
Yeah. Mark, it's in the IG Live playbook. Made a whole video on this. Detailed.
You got to make sure you read it, right? Make sure you read it.
Oh yeah. Mark's asking, how do you do those thumbnails available on the IG Live show? It's in the playbook. Look, Marie, you're already a customer. We don't need you coming to the non-customer webinar. We need you working.
Yeah, no, it's good for everybody. It's actually good for everybody. You know, like you know, we realize like a lot of the repetition of just, you know, the business concepts and the way to think about everything is just, it's good for everybody to continue to hear. Because I think every time you hear it, everyone has their own compass and you got to recalibrate your compass all the time. Like, you know, how often is it that probably every month, you know, you're executing, and then you take stock of what you've been doing and you find a bunch of stuff where you're like, what was I doing? That was such a waste of time, right? When you recalibrate and then you're back, your compass is right back on true north again, and then you do it all over again, and you do it again and again and again. You constantly have to recalibrate.
It's no different. It's no different. And I'll tell a quick story because I think it's really funny. You remember that Cesar Millan guy? You know, the dog trainer?
Of course. Yeah.
Right? You know, showing up on his rollerblades and the whole thing. So I'm at Coachella, and there's a bunch of us in like this RV area, and my buddy's like a photographer, so he's hooked up with Coachella, so we get to be in like the cool VIP area, right? Next door to us is the old gunner, the old drummer for Guns N' Roses. I can't remember what his name is, Matt something. And just previous to showing up, he had a whole week of this Cesar Millan training this little French bulldog, right? Training this French bulldog to be like a good, obedient bulldog. This is the dog whisperer, right? Cesar Millan, you know, the rollerblades, the whole thing. This dog is chewing on 1 week off. 1 week off. is chewing everything up, running around circles. They're like trying to chase them and try to get them. So to your point, like the repetition is important, right? It doesn't matter if you're the best trainer in the world. Like you need to hear it. Like the change takes time. We need you to do 150 push-ups in one sitting. Do you know how many sets and reps that takes? Even for like a strong person, unless you're like a really strong person, like it takes weeks, months of doing push-ups to do 101 setting, right? It's hard. So I do like the repetition. So fine, Marie, you want to come harass us? Yeah, it's all good. All right, that's it. I'm spent. Guys, thanks as always.
All right, guys.
See you tomorrow.
See you guys. Thank you.